phone, so best believe it's on. Sweat and tears, I've invested in this game, so I lay it on the line because I come to do my thing, I'm on.
What is up? What's going on, everybody? I hope everybody had a tremendous holiday. I hope it was good. I hope you spent it with your family. I hope that everybody had a great time and got exactly what they needed out of their family and everything else. But guess what? Christmas over. It's time to get back into it. Time to get back into that crypto spirit. We are going to have a 2002 review show for you guys today. I have a couple guests that are sitting backstage. We will bring them up. We're going to talk about all the good stories of 2022. We're going to talk about the good, the bad, the ugly, and a little bit about what we can start to see in 2023 from our perspective. Very diverse panel today, so we're going to get a lot of different perspectives. So without further ado, I will start bringing people in, and here we go. First one up is Wadi, the crypto hunter. How are you doing today, Wadi?
Good, Daniel. And you?
Not bad, not bad. Holidays are over. Time to get back into it. Next one we have is Max. Max.
Max.
Hey guys, good to see you.
How are you, Max? How was your holidays?
I'm doing good, Daniel. Good to see you as well, Wadi. And yeah, it was fine. It's nothing too, super serious or anything like that. But I was glad to spend it with my dad. So, how about you guys?
That's what it's about. Spending it with family, man. That's what it's about. So,
yep.
And next person we have backstage is the one, the only, the man, the myth, the legend himself, the Crypto Smith. How are you, buddy?
I'm good. How are you guys doing?
How was the holidays?
Pretty good. Can you guys hear me all right? I just got a new microphone and I've been testing it out all morning.
Sounds good.
Yeah, you're outbound. You can put it up a little bit, but good to see you, Sean.
You too, Max.
So if you guys can't hear us, just let us know in the chat. We'll go ahead. We'll fix things up. We'll make sure that everybody can hear us and everything's good. Wait for a couple more people to kind of straggle in as the holidays come around, and so we will get in to see who's here in the room. Hi, Tim. How are you? First one here, Tim Shea. Always support and love you, brother.
Good to see you, Tim.
What's going on, Tim?
Crypto Talk Now is in the house. How you doing? Larry? Hope everything is well. The man, the myth, right here, Eddie T.
Eddie T. Good to see you, man.
I think Eddie's got like 25 devices. You know what I'm saying? He's everywhere. Everybody's saying hi to everybody. What's up to everybody? Good to see you guys interacting. But we have a show today. I mean, we are going to review all of 2022, guys. Well, not all of it because so much happened, but some of the big stories in 2022, just to kind of talk about how they affected the crypto market and what we thought of each one of them. And I'll kind of ask your guys' opinion on one big one that I think. Well, no, before we do that, why don't everybody give me a story of what do you think the best cryptocurrency story is of the year? The good one. What's the good one? What's the one you guys looked at in 2022 and said, you know what, that one's good for the crypto market? What do you think, Sean?
Well, obviously, I'm going to say MMAI. That's number one. But I mean, that one is a serious one. Even though we consider it in the meme coin space, it'll turn into an altcoin at some point once the utility comes out. But I have to say, another favorite of mine is XRP, and I think them fighting the fight against the SEC and pushing for regulation, I believe, is good for all of crypto, even though nobody wants to support them.
That's good. We got
Good
two
point.
more people coming to join us today. We have the Crypto Lounge and Worldwide Crypto. How are you guys doing today, and how was your holidays?
What's going on? It was good. A lot of liquor, a lot of happiness. You know what I mean? It was what it is. You know, we're recovering right now. But how's the audio, guys? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, you good, you good.
All right. It's good to see everybody on the screen.
man.
Likewise.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nice meeting you too. I never met you two before, so I like to still said nice meeting you for the first time.
Yeah, likewise. Appreciate
Absolutely.
it. Yeah, my
How about
holiday
you?
was very was great, man. This was one of the first times that my family actually all got together and no arguments, no fights, no nothing, man. We had a really great we always be butting heads and stuff, when you get in a room with some strong, very, very headstrong people, you know what I mean? It's just it can get ugly very quickly, but this was a very, very great holiday, man.
Man, it's always a great holiday when you can have all your family together and you don't have and there's not an argument that breaks out, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's a success. Yeah.
That happens very rarely in my family. But the cryptosman Sean, he was just telling us, I was asking everybody, I don't know if you guys could hear backstage, what they thought that their best story of 2022 was. What story came out in 2022 that they thought was good and positive and could push the market forward. So Sean was saying a little bit. I believe what you said, Sean, was MetaMonkey AI and XRP, right?
Yeah, those are my two.
Yeah, those are some good ones.
What about you, Max?
Well, believe it or not, I'm gonna hop on this particular one. Might not be as popular as some of these other ones you guys cover and so on, but basically Stellar Lumens with the new aid initiative. I think it's a big win for crypto in general, and on top of that, what they're doing for the Ukraine, getting that directly to the actual people who need it. Fiat basically doesn't make sense in a war zone like that, and so on. Physical cash is something that they don't need. I mean, it sounds great for us, right? We need some cash. Who doesn't, right? Especially around the holidays. But yeah, I'm going with the Stellar Lumens new aid initiative. I thought it was a big win for crypto, and helping the Ukraine. So that's where it's at.
What about you, Wadi?
Oh no, I gotta say Saitama, bro.
Oh no,
I gotta hear
You know,
this.
it's April Fool's
Hey,
Day, man.
Yeah.
Exit stage left.
No, I need to hear these reasons. I want to hear the reasons.
We had to kick you out of here, Wadi.
You wrong for that, Wadi, but I got to hear your reasons, man.
Now let me see. One crypto. I mean, Sean already said MMAI, so I'm gonna cover both. I feel like they got something interesting going on. It's very impressive. And yeah, I mean, if they continue doing what they're doing, I see it getting places.
What about you, Crypto Lounge? What was the one story that in 2022 you were like, you know what, damn, this is nice. This is good for crypto.
Yeah. Well, we're still waiting on it, but Shibarium, once it does drop, I want to see. I can't wait to see the effect of Shibarium. Now, and Wadi's laughing. Whenever it does drop, okay, I think it's gonna have a pretty good size footprint. But it ain't here, so whatever, and then obviously I gotta piggyback off Sean. I like MMAI. I love the MetaMonkey blockchain tech that's coming out. The SAM tech I think is going to change the mining scape big time with the efficiency and all. So of course that, and I guess I'm a big ICP fan, so I love ICP too. So
nice. How about you, Worldwide Crypto? What were you shaking your head saying hell yeah about?
Yeah. So I'm definitely big fan of Volt. It's a lot of things going on with them, man. Especially when they came out with the introduction of the limit cells. You know what I mean? It's like that you know what I'm saying. You already have. Look, I've been looking around. We already have at least 10 that off the top of my head. 10 others like swaps or anything like that. That soon as that was announced, they immediately hopped on board with that. You know what I'm saying? And when you have a lot of different projects immediately adopting an announcement, I mean, you know, it goes to tell you that they are bringing some definite change and some needed change to the space. You know what I'm saying? Because that would help a lot of people with being able to sleep at night. Because if you know, especially if you hop into a you know, a project and you're like, you know what, I don't know if it's going to do any very well, you know, but this is my you know, this is my exit point that I would like to exit at. If it does hit that point, boom, there you go. You go ahead, set it, and there you go. Set it and forget it, pretty much. So
Yeah.
I think that was a very needed thing in the crypto space.
Yeah, I don't know how many sleepless nights we've all had getting into some of these projects, and you scared to go to bed because you might wake up and not have any liquidity in the morning.
Yeah, sleeping with one eye open, basically. You know, not getting any sleep at all.
Yeah.
You know, you gotta be careful, man.
There was one project. There was one project that man, it was a great idea, but it really didn't take off to where they actually closed their sales at the when the stock market closed, and then they reopened the next morning when the stock market opened back up. You know what I'm saying? But it really didn't take off, and I don't think the devs really they didn't really execute it all that well, because it started off great and then they just kind of died off and went away. You know what I mean? But I think that would have also been another game changer had the devs executed that properly.
Yeah, you would have rolled right into the stock market. Like, so, you know, when the stock market opened, trading was open. When it was closed, and people were up watching their money, you know. So tell me, let's roll down through this Terra Luna Classic deal. I mean, that was pretty much the first shoe to drop in 2022. That was the first kaboom, right? We had a couple kabooms in 2022. What was you guys' thought on that whole Terra Luna Classic thing this whole year as this thing rolled out? Anybody can take it first, but what was your guys' thought on that? Like sitting back watching that and then now being able to think about it and evaluate it. What's your thought on how that whole thing happened?
Well, I'll start with that one because believe it or not, that's what made me change my content. Like, for example, when I was starting my YouTube channel, I was only gonna focus on blue chip, because I figured those are the safest one, right? So when the whole Luna thing crash happened, oh my god, man, I was like, is anything sacred nowadays? So I started covering other content other than blue chips. So it was a big mess for sure. That
Man, we laugh about it. We can laugh about it because, you know, I mean, it's far enough away that, you know, you can laugh about it. A lot of people got wrecked, but man, that was a top tier token, man. And that thing went down with a ton of bricks, man.
I'm over here thinking, you know, I don't want to bring micro cap coins to the audience because the chances of them getting wrecked is like a 90% chance, just like I got wrecked. So I wanted to focus my content solely on blue chips. But then when I heard what happened with one of the top 20, I was like, oh, heck no. And that's when I changed everything.
What'd you think, Max, when that happened? Like, what was going through your head when you watched that whole thing unfold like that?
I thought it was crazy. You know, it's ironic. You know, basically about a week before that happened, maybe 2 weeks or so on, I actually did a video on my own Maximus Crypto before I joined up with Larry. Basically covering, you know, some of the yields from Anchor Protocol, because at the time it just seemed really lucrative. I mean, at the time you could get like basically 20% APR. It was really standing out. But then I saw something that also stood out that, by the way, if you follow Max Maher, he mentioned literally like 2 days before the collapse of Luna, and that was there's a problem with this Anchor Protocol thing. more is going out than coming in. You know what I mean? And so it's
Yeah,
like,
that'd be a problem. When more is going out than coming in, that's a problem.
yeah, it
Big
became a
red flag.
big problem. Yeah. So I mean, it's just, and then next thing you know, everything took a nosedive. But I think, you know, the combination of all this, it was ready. You know, we were ready in the start of a bear market, if you will. The Russia-Ukraine war basically just amplified, you know, the whole thing with being labeled as a crypto winner and whatnot. So all these different things. I mean, like I was telling some people, when it comes to the whole thing with FTX, if this would have been a bull market, maybe him, you know, as in Sam Bankman fraud at this point, and Caroline Ellison,
Oh, we gonna get
and all
there.
them.
Oh, we gonna
Guess
get
what?
there.
I think if anything, in a bull market, they could have pulled that crap off, right? But
Yeah.
as the saying goes, anything that's a real Ponzi scheme will catch up with you, because you're taking new investor money, paying off old investors. That's the definition of a Ponzi scheme. So there you go.
Robbing Peter to pay Paul.
Yeah.
Worse than that, man. Robbing
was your
Peter to
thought?
pay off like
That's
Paul,
it.
who's part of, like, you know,
Mhm.
this particular political party or this particular mob, or it's ridiculous.
What was your thoughts when all that was going down worldwide crypto? What do you think? What was your thoughts?
Man, hey, you know, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I stayed as far away from Luna, and even now I stay far as away from Luna as possible. I've never covered it. I never liked it. I was never a fan. So I just, you know, it's one of those things that I mean, I kind of kept up with the news a little bit, but I was just like, it wasn't even in my scope, because I really didn't like anything about it. Especially when you can watch, you know, it's like, oh, okay, well, payroll just went through. And, payroll just went through. Payroll just went through. You know what I'm saying? It's like, how much are these guys paying themselves? You know what I'm saying? It's like, what the heck is going on? So yeah.
What about you, Crypto Lounge? Like, did you have an old crap moment when that happened?
When I seen the APRs, I was like, "Oh shit, that ain't gonna work. That's not sustainable." I mean, you know, it was pretty plain to me. You know, the APRs just spoke volumes for me. I'm like, nah, that's not gonna work out too long. You know, short term maybe, but you know, a lot of people, even outside of crypto, that were getting into that. You know, it's just not internal. The external effects are we don't even know that right now, because a lot of those people are so embarrassed to even come forth. But yeah, it's pretty bad, man. It's pretty bad. And just like I said, the APR situation. Come on, man. That was too much. Unrealistic.
Yeah.
As we go through this, you'll start to notice that we learned a lot of lessons in 2022.
Yeah.
You know, and APRs is one of them. APRs is a lesson that I think everybody learned in 2022. It's like, you know, if it looks too good to be true and the APR looks like it's a little bit too high, you better run the hell away from that project, because it's not going to last. What about you, Sean? What did you think when that whole thing was going down?
Well, I honestly, when it happened, I really wasn't following Terra Luna, you know, at all. But there's two takeaways I've got from this. And one of them is none of these projects are too big to fail, right? You see these projects in the billions, you know, 40 billion, $50 billion, whatever it was. You think obviously they must have, you know, professional people behind the scenes who know what they're doing, you know, are following the rules, or you know, working in good faith, you know, with their customers. But then you find out that that's not true. Algorithmic stable coins, obviously those aren't going to be around any longer. The other thing I learned really quickly is how interconnected a lot of these very large financial institutions are. You're taking loans from each other, you know, in different tokens, and trading, you know, super high leverage. Obviously, you know, we'll cover FTX, I'm sure, you know, here. But how these are all interconnected, and when one goes down, it took, you know, 3 of them down almost instantly. Yeah. And then, you know, the fallout still continues.
You know, and the big takeaway for me for Terra Luna Classic, I didn't follow Terra Luna or Luna at all before this whole collapse. I made a lot of money off of that, though. I'll tell you, I swing traded the hell out of it when it came down. I mean, when it first came downwards, I threw a little bit in for the cause. I said I throw a little bit in for the cause, and, you know, risk it for the biscuit type of deal. And that joint took off, and I cashed out, and it took off again, and it came back all the way back down. So I threw it back a little bit more back in for the biscuit, and it took off again, and it took off. I was like, oh, okay, well, we're making some money off of this. So, you know, I ain't gonna lie, you know, I made a little bit of money swing trading that, but I didn't follow it at all. But and one of the reasons was because of the APRs. Like you just knew it wasn't sustainable. I didn't think that Terra Luna would fall. I thought maybe some of the apps on the blockchain would fall. I didn't think that they would fall as a whole.
Yeah.
But man, when they fell, this market got crushed.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the one thing it did for me is it shook out a bunch of bad actors, like Three Arrows Capital. We can talk about Three Arrows Capital and Celsius because they were the next ones to fall, right?
Yeah.
Because of the Terra Luna Classic deal, Three Arrows Capital and Celsius went down because they were exposed with their bad deals, and they were straight up over leveraged. And then you've seen all of the rest of these guys just start to fall out. So, what's your guys' thoughts on all that? Like, did Terra Luna create this massive fallout?
I wouldn't say that they created it, but I think it was all this was and I've seen a lot of this last year kind of like smoldering, so I wouldn't say they created it, but I think greed had a lot to do with it. A lot of arrogance had a lot to do with it, a lot. That's just my opinion though.
Yeah, there was a lot of different contributing factors to the whole fallout of everything, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of it had to do with, especially like towards the end of the year, man, with all the hype that was, around certain projects and stuff, and it was like they didn't deliver on stuff, and and then things started coming out, and people actually started becoming a little bit smarter about especially us that's been in for a couple years or whatever, started being a little bit more wiser and like, oh well, hold on, let me actually look into this. Let me actually look at what's going on Etherscan. You know what I'm saying? And actually trying to pay attention to some stuff. And it's like, and I'm one of them. You know what I mean? Like I was all into all the hype stuff. Yeah, I'm making some money, not even taking the time to see, okay, well, what's happening with the dev wallet? So what's happening with this marketing wallet? If some of these projects that was donating, well, okay, what's happening with this donation wallet? You know what I'm saying? And over this year, I've really became a lot wiser to a lot of the BS that goes on. And, a lot of people don't even know that a lot of these same devs are running multiple projects, and they're doing a lot, and it's a lot of the same ones, you know what I mean? And they're constantly trying to bring in money to make it look like their main project is doing well, when they're just like, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And like I said, a lot of people are really starting to pay attention to the BS, and that's why a lot of this stuff is falling out. It's because these project devs, they were promising stuff. They were, oh yeah, we're gonna go to the moon. Oh man, we're coming out with this utility, that utility. And when the first utility comes out, it's broken and don't work. And then they're like, yeah, well, we're gonna bring out another utility, and then it's like multiple coins and stuff like that. And it's like, wait a minute, let me take a step back. What are y'all doing? Like, what are y'all really doing? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And if you everything's on the blockchain. If you could even halfway read anything, especially if you can halfway read Etherscan, you'll see you'll see a lot of the scams these devs are pulling.
You know what? I think that's the problem though. There's that gap. A lot of people don't know how to read that Etherscan. It's very hard for a lot of people. They get scared of it. They get very fearful, man. They flip it up, put a contract number, and they see all that detail, all that data, and they just run from it. So I think we need to bridge that gap. Help some people actually learn how to read those scans. That way they can sniff this stuff out, like you said. Because if you really get into the details, as they say, the devil is there. That's where he lives. You know what I'm saying? You'll run, just like you said. You'll run real fast away from a lot of projects.
Yeah. So what are you thinking? Max? With all this Three Arrows Capital, Celsius falling down, all these people falling down? Like, what's your thoughts on all that? Is where are you at with that?
So the basic way I look at it is everything started with something from the beginning. So obviously Terra Luna was the start of that for everything to snowball from there. But technically speaking, I mean while we're looking into, for instance, was ANC the pairing with the original Terra Luna, the 20% yield, that sound all really, really nice and so on. How about this for size? How about some of the other ones where it's like these insane yield pools, if you will, where I'm thinking basically Time Wonderland. Remember that? as the saying goes, too good to be true. It usually is. I mean, come on, man. They were doing something like 80,000% APY. I mean, just like without even taking a more of a deeper dive into it, it's just like that's ridiculous, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
my thing it was basically, I got lucky. I mean, I dodged a few bullets. I didn't have, for instance, my money on Voyager. I didn't have my money on Celsius. I didn't have, thank God, my money on, FTX and so on. I've had, for instance, the exchanges I've dealt with is basically, KuCoin, Crypto.com, and whatnot. So, I'm fortunate in that regard. But I mean, some of the things that you guys mentioned, it's kind of like, well, recognize certain things. For me personally, I got into the altcoins at the beginning of January 2021, and it was that jump from a few months before that, basically with Robinhood, and saying to myself, well, man, I made a bunch of money with Dogecoin. Like I think Daniel knows my story, maybe Wadi and so on. 300 into Dogecoin became 22K, then got into Shiba Inu 8K to 88K. I was like, I really, really now need to learn some of these things. And for me, the big step was, it's very intimidating to go from, Robinhood to, I need to learn like Uniswap. So, back to, for instance, what Crypto Lounge was mentioning, that jump of getting into like Etherscan, right? Do I need to force myself to, learn Etherscan? Well, yeah, I got to that point. I wanted to see what was going on with some of these wallets and so on. And, we know the history behind what happened with like Saitama and so on. I'm not necessarily fudding it. I think they fudded themselves. I'm still into Saitama.
They got FUD all over the
Yeah, there's projects that fudded themselves. Mononoke fudded themselves. I mean, come on, give me a break. You know what I mean? So yeah.
There's a couple more projects that are putting themselves out here too. They stumbling all over themselves.
Yeah. That's embarrassing, bro. I mean, when you fudge yourself and then you blame it on other people, I mean, what are you doing? You initially fudded your own project, so that's crazy.
Everybody out here fudding my Saitama bag. Y'all better stop that.
Hey, you know what you got to do, Dan? Hold it. You better hold
Buy
it.
the dip, baby.
Yeah.
Buy the dip.
I don't know.
You're
man.
gonna get shamed too. We're gonna shame you.
I kind of laugh when people say, stop fudding my bag. Hello, I have a bag too. You know what I mean? And I've had a bag probably longer than most people. I have basically $4,000 into Saitama, and it's just like when we get into the next bull run, I'll give a shout out to, for instance, Bleeze. He pointed this out a while back. Some of the crumbs will trickle our way, and my thing is, I'm not keeping a moon bag. My days of moon bags, when it comes to some of these crap projects, I'm done with it. You know what I mean? I will take my profits all the way, and I'll cut ties. I'll be walking away completely, because I don't know if we're going to get a second chance, especially after regulations come through. This whole days of the Wild West. Come on, guys, let's be honest. Days are numbered. You know what I mean?
Yep. Big time.
I tell you, man. I take my profits. I tell everybody, don't count my pockets, count your own. I'm gonna make sure I get paid all the way up. I'm gonna leave some back. I'm gonna leave some back in case that Shiba Inu run comes. But I'm gonna make sure. I want to make sure I get my Eddie T and Crypto Talk now. Yeah, I like what you're saying. Smash that damn like button. Share this stream out. Get everybody in here. We're streaming. We're streaming on YouTube. We're streaming on Twitter. We're streaming on Twitch. Right now. So smash the damn like button. Share the stream out. Get it out there. Let's go. Sean, what's your thoughts?
Well, I agree a lot with Max. And, when you can sit back and say, okay, let's be honest about this, right? In 2025, I think there's going to be less than 500 projects that exist out there. All of this stuff that we're talking about.
It's very possible, yes.
And anything that exists only in the crypto world, I don't see a need for, right? And unless you're trying to bring in outside people, outside of crypto and get that mass adoption, rolling, right? We're kind of going backwards right now. But unless you're a project that's doing something outside of the crypto world, I just don't see you being around in 3-4 years.
Appreciate it, brother. I mean, you hit the nail on the head. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's right. It's right.
Hey, you know what? There's a lot of different projects and stuff like that. They're already setting themselves up to be, compliant. They've already got, lawyers and stuff like that. It's like you said, it's a lot of these ones that are just like, yeah, we're going to do this. They have no idea what's coming. Have no idea of how to prepare and to get ahead, because they don't want to pay a lawyer or this and that, because they're like, oh yeah, we'll just wait. You know what I'm saying? It's them ones that are going to fail, and they're going to get the hammer slammed down on them very, very hard and very quickly when they come.
The problem with them waiting, right? With them waiting, like, hey, we'll take care of the problem when it comes up. It's too late when it comes up, right? If the SEC or one of these regulators comes after you, they're going to sue you out of business, guaranteed. Just like they did with LIBOR.
I want to say something just real quick. I mean, I love this panel we have. I think it's awesome. We should do it more often. But, think about this for a moment. So, on exchanges, right, you have like a dog crap token type of thing that comes out, and they're like, you know what, we want to get on a top tier 1 exchange. Okay, sounds great, right? Let's go to takeitto-crypto.com. They have certain stipulations on how you even get on there. For one, you have to have a certain amount of volume. You have to show that
you got to have a backer with big pockets.
Exactly. I mean, obviously, money talks, but my thing is, so there's certain stipulations, correspondence, and so on when it comes to that. I think if anything, after regulation, the carpet gets rolled out on regulation and so on, you take a lot of these prerequisites, if you will, when it comes to exchanges. And if anything, you even apply that at full scale to everything out there, right? And that's just the way I'm looking at it. It's just like, if you're kind of used to this right now with some projects not getting on tier 1s, can you imagine like what Sean was mentioning, having like, was it 500 left after everything is said and done? I think it gets even that much more strict here in the future.
A lot of the big investors that are coming out of the stock market, they're not looking for, and I'm not trying to be negative. I'm just being real. They're not looking for community tokens. They're looking for technology based tokens. You know what I'm saying? E-commerce based tokens, things that already exist outside of crypto, because they like the blockchain, but they don't like the bullshit that's going on, and that's why we need the regulations.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And also too, I'll say another thing too is, going forward, there's a lot of like content creators right now that are actually helping. I mean, to expose a lot of the BS. You know what I'm saying? It used to be, oh well, you're going to pay me, and I'm just going to shut my mouth until whenever, but it's like content creators like us that are willing to stand up and be like, nah, you doing some bullshit.
Yeah.
No, this is no. Hey, look at this project. Look at what we're pointing out these scams and these scam artists. You know what I'm saying? And that I really believe over time that's also going to increase and help with weeding out these bad actors.
Yeah, I agree. And coming from the stock market, right, myself. What you realize really fast too is that as we move towards regulation and we're moving that way, you're going to realize that a lot of these projects, when you sit down and talk to a business, right, and you're sitting in a boardroom and you're talking to a business, they don't want to know what you're going to do for them 2 years from now or 18 months from now. They want to know what you're going to do for them right now or in the coming months, right? I tell people all the time, like I sit in a lot of meetings with a lot of CEOs, and if you say to them, well, here's what I can do for you in 24 months, they'll tell you to come back in 23 months. They're not spending their money, and that's kind of how you're going to see this thing progress, I believe. But dip into that, we can get right into regulations for 2022. My man Gary Gensler came out and said everybody's a security except for Bitcoin and Ethereum. And he said the crackdown on cryptocurrency has just begun. What's your guys' thoughts on how he's going to roll this thing out? Because my thought is, with everything that's happened from Terra Luna Classic to Three Arrows Capital to Celsius and then to FTX, which we'll get in a minute, this has given him so much runway to be able to push his agenda through basically the crypto market has done this to themselves. They're
Yeah.
pushing regulation on themselves
Yeah.
from how we're acting as a community. So I'm not mad at the SEC for coming out with regulations. We did this to ourselves with all the rug pulls and all the over leveraging and all that stuff. Like, the industry has done it to itself. So let me just address Eddie T for a minute. Eddie T, I wouldn't mind you up. I'm looking for you. I thought I found you in
Okay.
my search, but maybe I didn't because I don't see a wrench by your name. But I'm trying.
Daniel,
Yeah.
the quickest way to do that on your phone, since you're logging into your account, go into the stream, tap on Eddie's Eddie's name, and then click on mod. That's it.
Okay. I'll go on my mobile then. But
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, I think as an industry, we've kind of done this to ourselves. Like, we can't be mad that somebody's gonna come in and regulate us when we're fumbling on ourselves, right? So I get your guys' thoughts on that. I'm gonna go ahead and see if I can get Eddie T in here. But go ahead, give me your guys' thoughts on the SEC and the regulations. How
I'm going to predict.
basically how Gary's playing this.
I'm going to predict that Gary doesn't make it through 2023 at the SEC. I think when Republicans take over, that might end. I also predict if he does make it, I believe this is just my own thoughts, that he's going to drop a lawsuit on Ethereum, the Ethereum Foundation and consensus. They wanted to say that Ethereum wasn't a security as far as they were concerned back in 2018. The famous Hinman speech. But Gary Gensler recently stated that he thought he's going to have to take another look at Ethereum since they went to proof of stake. Anything that's paying a dividend is a security as far as they're concerned. So they may end up dropping the bomb, which is going to hurt crypto, of course.
Yeah.
But everything he does hurts crypto. And the SEC, let's just understand that the SEC doesn't write guidelines. They don't make the rules, right? Congress has to do that. And then the SEC then can enforce those rules. So we have to wait for Congress to get off their asses and do something, right? It's been years. We've been begging them for years, and it's just, they're just dragging their feet.
Well, here to add on to that, now that you mentioned, since you mentioned Congress, a lot of people don't realize how many, especially in the last year or two, that how many politicians have jumped into crypto, and because they seen it was booming, and of course they're in there to make money, like everybody else, and with the fallout with a lot of these different exchanges, because most people with higher tiered kind of money, they invest in they're messing with the exchanges. They're not on Pancake Swap and Uniswap and such. You know what I'm saying? And what's happened is these exchanges have hurt their pockets, so they're now looking for ways to either recoup or to to get back at the crypto industry for their losses. So we just got to keep that in mind, because these politicians, they come up with laws, they come up with regulations, they pass bills and such based on their own personal interests. You know what I mean? And it's that's proven time and time again with everything, all these bills, especially, man, if people ain't really paid attention to what these bills and such that these politicians are passing, it's a lot of personal interest, and it's a lot of and a lot of it is influenced by just me wanting to be popular. You know what I'm saying? So now a lot of people's lost a lot of money. They've lost a lot of money. So now they're looking at some kind of retaliation. You know what I mean? So I think, my projection was, maybe 5, maybe 10 years that we're going to be looking to, into some serious game, as far as like, they're coming down with some like serious regulations. But now I'm looking at within 5 years.
No, Gensler looks like a fool right now. We could just say he looks like a fool. FTX, they made him look pretty bad. And like you said, they lost a lot of money. A lot of congressmen lost a lot. They feel the pain. So it's the legislation, all the language is going to be emotional. It's written with really negative emotion. So I welcome it, because I want the seriousness to be a president in the crypto market next year. So I think that'll expedite that. But as far as Gensler, I'm with Sean. I don't think he makes it. I don't think he makes it. So who's next? You know, we don't know that opinion of that person that's who's next. So that's the big question mark for me. When Gensler's gone, who steps up to the plate, and how do they actually feel about it? Because I know in Texas, we're pretty bullish on Bitcoin. So, and I totally understand that, you know, the feel of Bitcoin. I don't think Bitcoin is going to be in trouble. I think it's going to be just fine. But I think it may be less than 500 that'll be left over after all this is done. You know.
Well, they're already starting. Go ahead.
What Michael was saying, that everybody thought Gary Gensler was going to be the savior for crypto when he came to the SEC, because he was literally out there teaching at MIT, saying that XRP was a currency, right, a commodity. Mm-hmm. So they're like, okay, this is our guy, right? He's gonna come in and help the space out, and he flipped 180 degrees, and basically all he's looking to do right now is just move himself to the Treasury Department, I believe.
Yeah. No, he's a fool, man. My thing is, what happens to the NFT market with this regulation? Because there's a lot of royalties flying around, you know, a lot of payouts, dividends, if you would. What happens there? You know, I like to see that. How are they going to handle that?
Yeah,
go ahead, Wadi. Sorry.
No. I think that the NFT market, actually, they are accepting it more than crypto, because even former President Trump gets to create an NFT. There's also a court that approve, basically, let's say, for example, I am married, so I'm married to Sonia, right? We get divorced, bro, my NFTs ain't safe. I gotta give her half of my NFTs, in case you didn't know. So I don't think NFTs are going anywhere.
Well, you got to think a lot of artists are selling their art and keep storing their art and such in NFTs now. You got the pharmaceutical companies and you know, the hospitals and stuff. They are all starting to move towards storing stuff as NFTs and such like that. You know what I'm saying? There's a bigger move towards NFTs being, you know, some kind of legal thing rather than crypto itself.
Well, you got a lot of, I don't know if you guys know about this, but there are a lot of marketplaces that are blocking royalties. I think OpenSea is the only one that actually has legitimate protection in place for the actual creators. So, and that kind of bothers me when you're blocking royalties from the artists, they're not be able to receive royalties. That's not cool. You know, that's not cool. So it's just a lot of strange stuff going on with the NFT thing. And then when you bring in the regulation, but, you know, I'm thinking, what are they going to do? And Wadi, is that a New York State law that you're talking about?
No, actually, that's the good thing. New York State is out of it so far.
Okay.
But there's other states. I know Miami is included. It's approved. You know, if you divorce your spouse and you have NFTs, that's part of the 50% that you got to give them.
Man, you know,
Eddie T, I'm sorry I hit the wrong button. I put you in timeout, but you should be back now. And you should be the mod. You didn't.
What are we doing?
Eddie, man, my bad.
Eddie got put in the corner. I heard it.
He just wanted to be a mod. That's crazy. Put him in jail.
Eddie, you didn't earn that timeout, man. That was my fat fingers on my phone that gave you that timeout, man. My bad, man. But you officially became the first person I've ever put in timeout. What's up, Awesome? How you doing, man? I hope everything's well with you, Awesome, man. We miss you, man. I was kind of hoping you would be here today, but I understand. We talked a little bit earlier. I got you, man. I hope you're feeling better, man. But this whole regulation thing is crazy. Did you guys see? Did you guys see where FTT token? They're considering that a security, and the reasons why?
Yeah,
they're considering that a security. I mean, the majority of cryptos fall underneath that standard.
That's what I'm saying. That's the thing, man. I mean, anything that has an issuer, you know, if you're throwing out tokens, you're security under the guidelines. So I mean, what happens? What happens there? There's a lot.
And I got a question for you guys because this happened in 2022 too, and me and Wadi were kind of talking about this, and based on the guidelines, right, that just came out, did Ethereum make a mistake going from proof of work to proof of stake?
Yes.
Did they change their, could they be considered a security now because they went from to proof of stake instead of proof of work? Does that
100%.
change?
Absolutely.
Yeah, Gary Gensler said that much. He said he's going to have to take another look at it, Ethereum, because they changed to proof of stake, so they may catch a lawsuit.
You know what's looking really good right now? That fork, that POW fork, is looking really yummy right now. I'm telling you.
You know, it's funny because I was sitting here on the couch and I was thinking to myself, I was like, man, did Ethereum just kick themselves in the ass, right? Because if they would have stayed proof of work, they probably would have been not considered, well, not even have to put up the fight, right? But because they went to proof of stake, now they may have a fight. That's crazy to me.
Yeah, it is crazy. I mean, they try to satisfy all the people out there that are not happy with how much resources, energy resources it takes to mine Ethereum. Just the same with Bitcoin. And they thought it was going to be faster, better, cheaper, and it turns out it's really just about the same.
Yeah, and the security factors are let's just face it, it's shit. It really is. When you're dealing with proof of stake, it is. You can control that easily.
So what's
your
guys?
I believe Ethereum is centralized. I mean, most of Ethereum, the Ethereum tokens are held with in just a couple of people's wallets. So,
yeah. So and when we start talking about this regulation in SEC, do you guys think that blockchain tokens are securities? If you're only running a blockchain with your token, like let's say BNB, I don't think so either. I think if you're a blockchain token, I don't think you're going to be deemed a security.
No.
Yeah,
it's a utility token. Think about it.
What's your thought on that, Max?
There's something to be said about that. A guy who you're not too big of a fan of, I won't mention his name, but he mentioned that, it's kind of interesting how Coinbase, right, never had, for instance, a native token on their exchange. Did they prepare for the future, basically speaking? But in regards to the whole thing about, some people basically being like controversial with the whole thing, like, Ethereum, this is all perfect timing for, I don't know, the Great Reset and all these type of things. I think that's malarkey, personally speaking, because if anything, if you go back, Vitalik and the rest of the crew, right, since 2014, basically mentioned that Ethereum, we're going to get to this day where they're going to be proof of stake. So since 2014, everybody's been getting these warnings. Even the miners, right, with their ASIC miners, this day is going to come. I see people, it's like literally on YouTube with videos, and they're pissed off. They're like, look at this error code come across, their monitor screen, right? I can't mine Ethereum on my ASIC miner anymore. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, did you not get the memo? Like, what's going on here? Go to I guess go to Ethereum Classic. Yes, I understand that you're going to yield normally back when Ethereum was proof of work. That amount is significantly less. That's why some of these guys are jumping from not even Ethereum, what we knew of, to Ethereum Classics, to some of these other ones, like for instance Ravencoin. Technically speaking, Ravencoin, you need an ASIC miner. Yeah. By the way, you can mine Shiba Inu on it. I know it sounds nuts, right? But it's technically not even completely mining. So they call it mining. Then you convert your SHIB to what? Ravencoin. So there's all sorts of different platforms. I still say, and I said it on our live show many times, there's going to be that want and need for this big conglomerate group of people, roughly about 10 million miners. I know it sounds nuts, right? Mm-hmm. But worldwide, there's about 10 million miners. That's a big group in itself. You get a big group to basically have a go-to platform, if you will. Watch out for that coin, right? Whatever that is, whether it's Ravencoin, whether it's some of these other ones and so on. And if anything, there's still that particular need. So I don't know, man. There's so much to be said about still. And we'll have to see how it goes.
Yeah, I think You get decentralized networks, you get them booming. You know, you get a lot of developers developing on decentralized networks. You know, I think that'll change the game too. That's something that's not. That's why I like it, ICP, because that's not really being talked about. But that's an option. You know.
So let me just tell you guys in the chat. Every single one of these guys up here have a YouTube channel. I dropped there are links all down in the description down below. If you guys go to the description, you click on their link, go subscribe to them, go hook them up, give them a sub, and follow their content. These are all good content creators. They bring information in a different way. Each one of us bring it in a different way, and it's all good content. They're all solid people. They're not going to lead you in the wrong direction. We're not always right, but you know what? We usually can back up what we say. Go follow solid creators. Go follow solid content, and these are some of the guys here that have that content. Sean, I want to get your thoughts in crypto now, worldwide crypto. I want to get your thoughts on this too, and then we can all the rest of us can pipe in. What the hell is going on with XRP, man? My bag is just trading straight sideways forever. I'm loaded up. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to take off on this rocket. And man, we're just kind of just scooting along the river, man.
Well, I mean, the SEC lawsuit, obviously, notwithstanding, take everything else outside of that, right? We're waiting on CBDCs to see which countries are going to actually use the XRPL. You know, not all of them are, you know, everybody likes to say, or a lot of people like to say, you know, XRP is going to be all the money, but it's not going to be all the money. It's going to run certain CBDCs out there, whether they're backed by gold or nothing. And then we're waiting on, obviously, once the SEC gets done, that's going to get appealed. No matter who wins, it's going to go to appeals court. So this thing probably going to drag out for years.
Yes.
And I think at the end of the day, I mean, it really depends on what you believe personally, right? We don't know anything for sure. We don't know, is the US government going to basically take XRP and use that for their new currency coming forward in the next few years or whenever this might drop? Are they just going to partner with? Are they going to try to basically rub it out of existence? You know, just keep dragging this thing on. I don't think that happens, because XRP and the XRPL and Ripple basically they work 95% of their business is outside of the U.S. So if they stop doing business in the U.S. altogether because they're deemed a security, then I think the project still goes on. I'm not selling my XRP at all for any reason. So they're going to have to take it from me.
Yeah, I want to hear from everybody on this. So we'll go to worldwide crypto. Where are you at with this whole XRP case, man? Because
I think that, like I say, like, you know, like he just touched on, I think everybody's just right now in a waiting period, you know, because there's still a lot of people that just does not know, or that they haven't really been following the case or whatnot. But I really feel that, you know, once it, all right, so I think XRP is it's going to come out as a win. It's 50-50. It's going to come out as a win for XRP, or they're going to continue just to drag it out for years. You know what I mean? Because they've really been making the SEC look very bad, and because they have a bunch of people up there trying to say a bunch of things, and they don't know nothing about what's going on with crypto and stuff like that. And, you know, they're constantly trying to bring in smarter and smarter people, but at the same time, it's like, look, you lost this when you started the case, but, you know, it's just one of those things. It's the government is really not wanting to back down from that. You know what I'm saying? So it's more of, right now, I think it's more of a show, but once I guess the show dies down, I really do think that I think the United States government will eventually probably just take on XRP, as it's, because I mean they've already announced that that they're going to be releasing a cryptocurrency, you know, before, you know, in however long they're going to do it, and I think XRP would be the best choice for that. So,
what's your thoughts, Wadi? Max, you know I'm waiting to get you last, right?
I said it
Fair enough.
plenty of times. In the long run, XRP is the crypto, or one of the crypto that is going to make it through. I was just seeing earlier, which that's the news I was looking for, that the SEC actually decided that they wasn't gonna play or allow damn, but I can think the name of it. Somebody to testify against XRP. So if they're not going to allow it, is obviously for a reason. Now, the partnership that XRP has are way too freaking powerful. And let's say an example, okay, the SEC wins, right? So what is gonna happen? Probably the XRP is not gonna be allowed in the United States, but it's gonna be allowed everywhere else. So what difference does it make? We all saw that the XRP community is strong and they are united. Even with the lawsuit going on, they managed to push it to like $1.80, was it? So, oh gosh,
An all-time high.
yeah, yeah.
It
So,
was about almost $4.
Yeah.
yeah. So, at the end of the day, it's just a matter of time, and it's either A or B. Either they give up, they're gonna quit because I'm pretty sure that's also taking a lot of resources with the investigation, or they actually managed to pull something good, which I highly doubt it, that they could come out and say, you know what, you're done. We don't want you work in the United States, and that's it. But does it mean that XRP is going to stop? No. As a matter of fact, Sean, you probably know about this XR payment, something like that.
Uh, yeah, it's like XR Pay Net, I think.
Yeah, XR
Something
payment.
yeah.
Yeah.
So what about you, Crypto Lounge? Where you at on the XRP thing?
Well, I mean, it's a big, huge threat to the monetary system. Anytime we're talking Federal Reserve, all that good stuff, it's a threat. And anytime that is threatened, the governments, they tend to build up thick calluses, all right? And they tend to basically squelch whatever it deems as a threat. And that's what's going on. And they have the power to do it for years. So, like Sean said, that's a good point. They exist outside of America. We know this, but these American government tentacles tend to stretch across. They stretch abroad. So I don't really think that XRP is going to fall, but it's a huge threat. Anytime the government is threatened, they tend to react violently. I think if Gensler does get moved away from the SEC, I think you may see this go a little faster. But I don't know. It's a long road.
Yeah.
I think Gary's on his way out. I think Gary.
Oh, yeah.
I think Gary's talking himself to an exit.
Well, Carolina, she's expediting that as well. She's giving up the goods, right?
Oh, she's
I got a good one as far as FTX, but I'll wait until we get to that one. And yeah, Caroline has been singing like there's no tomorrow.
Oh man, when we get to FTX, man, Caroline's turned for Pete to Parakeet Minute, man. She's singing on everybody. What's your thoughts on XRP?
She made the canary look bad, right?
Man, she is singing. She's Ray Charles in it out there, man. What's your thought?
Ray Charles is rolling his grave after you just said that. Anyway, now the way I look at it with XRP, I mean, for those who follow us at Crypto Talk now and so on, I mean, we cover a lot of these ISS, Quant, XRP, XLM. I just put out an XLM video this morning, basically. But personally, this is the way I look at it, right? So to answer your specific question, the whole thing with the SEC, right? So I think personally that it's kind of like a 50-50 in a way. I mean, I know there's a lot of us that are all gung-ho. Yes, big win for crypto. All right, so let's look at that scenario. Let's say, for instance, the SEC loses. We all get what we want. It's not just a win for the XRP army and so on. It's a big win for crypto. Why is it a big win for crypto? This main key thing. Because if anything, I don't think you see the SEC go after Ethereum and all these other ones. It just ends right there. I'm just going to call it right there on that. But as far as the regulation on some of these other things that don't make sense, right? Like, you know, what we saw with FTX and all that, definitely we're going to have regulation with that. But as far as targeting specific cryptos that are like basically the top 10 and so on, maybe you make it a little bit more harder with regulation. But as far as it going away or, you know, causing it to tank the price, I just don't see that. Now, as far as the SEC winning the case, all right, obviously that's a big, huge loss for crypto, because if anything, I think you could get to the point where Gensler maybe keeps his job, right? Because there's that. So then he, of course, starts going after these other projects, Ethereum, and then the floodgates basically open. And it's just, oh man, we talk about crypto winter and so on. I mean, I think if anything, it extends it out multiple years. You lose a lot of that retail adoption, if you will. And another thing I mentioned on our show is I still think the institutional money will be there. As far as the retail money, you lose a big, huge, whopping amount of that. And that just keeps delaying it and so on. But as far as the generational wealth, I feel as though, you know, yeah, I made decent money with Doge, Shiba Inu, Crow last year, right? It's great. It wasn't the generational wealth I'm looking for. For me personally, I still feel as though XRP is one of the main tickets, and everybody that's focusing on the whole idea of, well, you know, SEC's come down on Ripple so hard. I have my tunnel vision. It's all about the United States. Guess what? It's not about the United States. So, for instance, they can move, like you pointed out, Daniel, go elsewhere. Brad Garlinghouse has mentioned it before. Headquarter, I don't know, maybe Singapore. I don't know if they're gonna do that. But you know what I mean?
They just built a big, huge office in Canada.
Right, but it's not going to be here is the whole point. So they go elsewhere. They took, you know, and if anything, the central banks, if you will, they're still going to hop on the whole thing of that particular technology. Again, like I said, don't get the tunnel vision, not you guys specifically, but just people in general. I have some of my own guys from, you know, Crypto Talk Now. I mean, I love Crypto Winter. He's a good guy. You know, he's one of our audience people, but he, in my humble opinion, he's got the tunnel vision when it comes to, he looks at it from the perspective of, well, you know, what the United States is doing. Guess what? The rest of the world is going to get on this particular technology, whether the United States is there and so on. I'll just leave with this. That on-demand liquidity, it has that tap, like as I would say, you turn it on a, you know, the tap of literally all that stream. We haven't got to there yet. So until that happens, I just feel as though like people don't really realize how much money that is. We're not just talking about just trillions, quadrillions. Even 1% of that on-demand liquidity, if you will, gets crypto to insane market caps that nobody's ever seen before. They call that basically a utility run. And then from there, the bull run. And that's where I'm going with the whole thing. I recognize that. Some people say, well, you're full of it and so on. I get it. But my thing is XLM will follow suit right there as well. Because for one, both XRP and XLM have those cross-border payments, their technologies and so on. Those make sense. But for bank to bank, it's definitely XRP. For peer-to-peer, it's definitely XLM.
You know, just to touch on that, Max, I think the tunnel vision comes from the fact that the SEC and what they're doing right now is basically halted everything. And that is the case is based in America. So when you have that in front of a lot of people, I think that's where the tunnel vision comes from. They see Gensler putting the hammer down, and the movement has been halted, essentially. And that is based here in the U.S. So I think that's where it comes from. I really do.
Well, you're right. It is where it's coming from. But I'm looking at it for the perspective. It's like this, right? So, I mean, I'm a gamer. I have a YouTube channel for gaming. A lot of my friends and so on are also into crypto. Yeah. But guess what? They're not Americans. You know what I mean? Yeah. They're like European gamers. They're looking at it for the perspective of this does not affect us from where we're at in the world. Mm-hmm. The likes of Holland, the likes of France, the likes of all these other countries and so on. They recognize, look, it's going to suck in general because the United States, you know, throughout history has been such a great big player. Why doesn't the United States want to recognize this technology? What's her name from? I think it was from XLM. I even put on a tweet. She said specifically with all this thing that happened with regulation was a couple weeks ago, for instance, addressing the U.S. Senate, right? The U.S. Senate committee. You know, you had bunch of people there, so on. Yeah. There's this one specific lady, and she did a really good job of basically addressing this in one sentence, and that was, we should be tracking the activity, but not putting a damper on technology, right? And that's just the key takeaway. It's just like, yeah, track the activity of all this crap going on. You know, like you mentioned earlier, you know, learn Etherscan. But it's not just that, you know what I mean? It doesn't stop just there. If anything, we need more and more people to learn these things, but it's how if crypto affects people. For me personally, I felt as though I had to take that jump to learn, you know, like Etherscan or learn Uniswap and so on. But for the average person that's new to this, it just seems like, oh God, this is too intimidating.
Well, a lot of that leads to, you know, the fact that, you know, there's a lot of people up in Washington that they see a lot of money being transacted over the crypto space, and they did not have their hands into it until it was too late. You know, when it started to really get this big boom, and they wanted to cash in on that boom, and right after that, all these others, you know, the big fall started to happen at the beginning of this year. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of that is just, you know, they want to get their hands in on all this money being transacted. They want to tax the shit out of it, so you know they can continue that stream, because America itself is I mean, anybody can say what they want, but the United States government is fucking broke, and they need all the revenue stream that they can get. So, and they see crypto as another added revenue stream for them to bring in for, you know, so they can bribe this country or give to that country, just so they could continue that image that America is just this strong, prosperous country, and it's not. You know, we see it, you know, especially us, we see it every fucking day, and you know, not enough people are paying attention to it. The United States is fucking broke. They need this extra money to come in, and they're trying to reach into it.
I think that's the basis of why they're attacking XRP. They want a piece of those transaction fees. They want a lot of it, because let's face it, it's payment. It's a payment machine, and it's very, very well greased. Okay,
and
they want a piece of that.
And I couldn't agree with you guys more. And I was talking to somebody the other day, and I forget even who I was talking to, and I said, if you think that regulation is going to come down and it's not going to benefit the United States as far as taxes go, you're fucking nuts.
Yeah.
They want to tap into these billions of dollars in markets, and they want to make sure that they're getting their cut out of every single dollar that you put in. So when you look at regulation, people think, oh, they're going to regulate the crypto industry to protect us. That's what they're going to tell you. But what they're really going to regulate the crypto industry to do is make sure that they get their tax money for every single transaction you make.
Absolutely.
And that's the end game here. And people that don't believe that, like they think that they have our best interests in mind, they're fooling themselves. They don't even know what the hell a blockchain is. But they know that if you make $5, that they need to get their 30% cut off of that. So that's what they do know. I have a little different opinion on that.
So basically, what I was gonna say is called the William Hinman file. So that file is based on Director William Hinman at the Yahoo Financial All Markets Summit in June 2018. Where he reportedly stated that Ethereum, the native token of the Ethereum blockchain, it's not a security. So there's something tied to that file with XRP, and the SEC, they claim that it's not relevant to the case.
Well, the SEC has been fighting these Hinman emails forever, because they don't want them in the records, because if they put them in the record, then XRP can come back and say, well, if Bitcoin and Ethereum is not a security, well, what metrics did you use to measure that? And you need to measure everybody against that. And that's
exactly, you can't just pick and choose because, you know, it doesn't fit your, you know, who you're tied into, whether it's JP Morgan and so on. So
absolutely.
And that's where they
I'll be one better than that. So
go for it.
In the Hinman emails, somebody tied to the court case, they've seen these emails, right? Unredacted. Now they can't release them yet. And the SEC is refusing, even though the judges ordered them, I don't know, 4 or 5 times now to produce these documents so that the opposition could use them. And in these basically collection of emails that are, precursoring this 2018 Bill Hinman speech. They said it, from what they could read, it looks as if XRP was going to be mentioned and not Ethereum. And Bill Hinman changed it on his own to mention Ethereum because he has a connection to the Ethereum Foundation at the time. Him and Jay Clayton also, who basically decided to file the lawsuit on his last day at the SEC as he was going to work for a law firm, and their largest client was Consensus, which is basically the Ethereum. Yeah. So this is what they called ETHgate. So if you go research ETHgate out there, it's insane.
Isn't that awfully convenient, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you want conspiracy?
That's a lot there, man. That's a lot there. Yeah.
But I have a different take on how I would how I think that the XRP case is going to end. I don't think it's going to end the way in an all-out win or an all-out loss. I think that XRP will win the piece of it where it says that they're not a security, and Ripple's, everything that Ripple sold XRP wise before they actually launched the XRP token, I think they're going to get fined for that. Everything they sold after that, I think they're going to be fine. And I think that's the best plea deal that they can give, because I think as a Ripple board member, you got to think about it from a business perspective and a board member's perspective. If I'm sitting on a Ripple board, I'm telling them, take the deal, the best deal possible that doesn't label us as security, because I'm sick and tired of leaking this money. You got to remember they're shareholders as well. So as we're leaking money or trading sideways, they're leaking money and trading sideways.
They came
That's
out
not going to go well.
Brad Garlinghouse already came out and said that the same thing. Just like what you're saying, that hey, if we can work a deal where we get, they pay a fine, maybe a huge fine, $100 million or whatever, for the initial sales, but then they just agree to not label XRP as security, that they would take that settlement in a heartbeat.
Yeah. Because I think that gives XRP a win, and it also gives the SEC, they get to save face, right? Yeah. So they get a little bit of win, we get a little bit of win, and we move forward. When you're a company like Ripple, you shouldn't be worried about saving the whole cryptocurrency space. You have shareholders that you have to answer to. You have, and I think that's what it's going to come down to. And I think it's going to come down to a settlement like that. And it's good for XRP, because if they settle, then the SEC can't appeal it. It's over. Right. If they straight up win, you best believe this thing's going to end up at the Supreme Court. And we're not going to have, how we have the Howey test? We're going to have the XRP test for digital assets.
Yeah. Well, that's where this thing, like Sean was mentioning earlier, it gets dragged through the money, just keeps going on year after year.
And that doesn't do any good for the XRP retail investment sector. It doesn't do anything for us. Like, it's not going to make XRP go any higher than what it is right now. And that's not good for the Ripple board either. They're not gonna deal with that. They're going to be like.
And after the fact, think about this: the Ripple actually wants to go public after this lawsuit's over. They've already stated that, so they're going to have a good working relationship with the SEC if they're going to want to go public as well.
Yeah, that's one IPO I will be buying. So let's get into this. Let's get into the goodies of the year. This damn whole FTX situation and how this thing went down, where we are now, and how I've been holding off on this one for a little bit, because we had to get through some of that other stuff that happened early on in the year. But man, did Sam Bankman-Fried ever jack the crypto market up for a long time. So I got to get you guys' thoughts on this situation, because man, this might be the biggest hijack situation in history. My man hijacked everything. Sean, I know you said that you got to go in a little while, but I want to get your take on this situation. What happened? What's your feelings? And where the hell are we going from here? Because this shit's a mess.
It it is a mess. It's ridiculous. Looking at it after the fact, of course, we get to see how unprofessional, how inexperienced these people were that were dealing in these billions of dollars of people's assets. The loans that were given, the real estate bought, the companies they purchased, under their FTX platform, and how there was no legal connections. There's no paperwork, right? There's no what did they say? They don't have receipts for most of the stuff that they ended up buying. Like
They were using QuickBooks, man. They was using QuickBooks.
It's astounding. And then to find out that Sam Bankman-Fried is literally meeting with Gary Gensler, working on his own version of regulation, what he'd like to see in order for him or an FTX to get preferential treatment. That's what he was doing with Gary, right? And how does Gary Gensler not have the slightest clue on how Sam's business is running? Before you take a meeting or multiple meetings with somebody, don't you look into their company, their background, like their history, what you got going on? And then
Gary.
Yeah. Not Gary. No, he didn't do anything. It was stupid.
Not Gary.
He was involved in the whole process as well, and he's doubling down on that.
Then you got the Dan Berkowitz. He kind of just stepped out and said, "Oh, I just want to let me go on over here."
I mean, seriously, I think I would be doing the same thing. I'd be running. I'd turn and I'd run so fucking fast away from this shit. I totally understand why he's doing it. I mean, because it's a hot potato. I'm telling you.
But listen to this one. This is why I couldn't wait for this one, because I just came across it right now as we're talking on the live stream. So it says Caroline Ellison, the former CEO of Alameda Research, testified before a federal judge last week that she conspired with FTX employees, including former CEO Sam Bankman-Fried, to mislead lenders about the amount of money her organization borrowed from the now bankrupt exchange. Forecast News reported, according to a transcript of the hearing made public last Friday, Ellison stated that she was wrong and she was aware that Alameda had access to a borrowing facility on FTX.com from 2019 to 2022. We prepared certain quarterly balance sheets that conceal the extent of Alameda's borrowing and the billions of dollars in loan that Alameda had made to FTX executive and to relate and to related parties. Ellison, who has pleaded guilty to fraud charges, said
she is up there singing.
Hey,
she is singing.
All it takes is some Starbucks, a couple of muffins, and you get it all.
First one to talk, it's the best deal.
Ain't no honor amongst thieves, No,
if you can't tell me that her and Wang didn't go to the FBI, and the FBI came to them and they're like, "Look, give me this deal, and I'm going to tell you everything you need to know. I'm going to lay all this out for you."
Yeah.
Man, what she is. I mean, she is singing like crazy. I mean, it's not going to surprise me. I keep saying this, and I keep waiting for it to come out because I believe it's going to come out.
Well,
I think she's doxing wallets. I think she knows whose DeFi wallets the big ones are, and she's doxing them. She's telling the federal government that this wallet is connected to this person right here, and here's how they got paid, and here's how much they got paid, and here's how much they were skimming off the top. And man, when that comes out, and here's the dark donations that were made to the politicians, because what people forget is Sam is still charged with campaign finance fraud. you don't that charge just doesn't come out of anywhere.
Yep.
Yep.
They track that money from somewhere, and then all of a sudden they just miraculously find $1 billion somewhere that all of a sudden just shows up. So they found it. No, you didn't find it.
I
She
gotta
told
go,
you where it
boys.
was at, man.
No, you got a lot of congressmen that are giving it back. Yeah, a lot of them have already
See you,
given
man.
their monies
See you
back.
guys.
You know what I mean?
Well, this was before they even said that. They were like, before they even said that they were giving it back. They said that they found $1 billion. You miraculously just find $1 billion. It didn't have anything to do with Caroline Ellison and Wong telling you where that $1 billion was at.
That's why they're getting a sweet deal.
Yeah.
Daniel, that's why they're going to get the sweetest deal. They may not even do any jail time because they got all the skeletons.
I said it at the beginning.
They will do some jail time, but I think she's gonna get probation, supposedly on good behavior, and later on, she's gonna be walking around free. But if she doesn't do any time, man, it's gonna look really, really bad. And everybody is going to be talking about that.
You remember we were talking about the money that the government needs, right? All that information, Daniel, that you were talking about, they need that to get that money. Okay.
Yeah.
The tax evasion charges are going to be prevalent later next year. You're going to see a bunch of that, and that's where it's going to come from.
Yeah.
I don't think she's going to do a day in jail. Because here's what I think her and Wang are the star witnesses. And they're the only two who are going to tie all this together. When they take the stand, if it gets that far, you're going to see these two tied. Because he wrote the program from the beginning. He was the software developer that wrote the program. And he already said in open court that there was always a back door for Alameda to take whatever they wanted on the FTX was built into the software that he built. He was directed to build that. So these two are going to be the star witnesses in that case, and they're going to tie it all together, and they're going to tie all these wallets together, and they're going to tie all this money together, and there's going to be a whole lot of people that go down that we don't even know about yet. We don't even know about them yet, but we're going to go down. You know what I think is going to be the funniest thing ever? If they tie Kevin O'Leary to one of these big wallets.
You already know. That's what. Come on. Go ahead, bro.
If my man's got to go to trial, can you imagine Kevin O'Leary in a federal jail?
This is why he's screaming, bro. He was one of the first ones that was like, hey, I took some money. I took 15 million. I think he took more than that, but I took 15 million, but I reinvested it. It doesn't matter. That there's the marker there. I mean, he's already on the hook. They already got him fair and square. So that's why he's everywhere, just trying to make it make sense. But he's a fool too as well.
Yeah.
Nah, but better yet, how about if they actually catch Gary with one of those wallets and what?
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
Yeah. That would be something very, very, very interesting to look at.
And then all of these media outlets that are trying to paint SBF as as this victim. He didn't know anything and this and that, man. They are all getting ready to look like Boo Boo the Fool because this dude knew every step of the plan the whole way, and they telling it. I guess they was banking on them all just kind of keeping it to themselves. No, they are singing like canaries, boy. I'm telling you.
There are some media that there's another report I was reading. Literally, it's funny because I wasn't much of a reader, but I got into the crypto space and now I'm reading article like 24/7. What I was saying, it's an article where somebody is admitting that Sam Bankman-Fried has been paying certain media outlets to get the info.
He owned media outlets that nobody knew about. That came out later. He owned them, Max. I want to get your thoughts on this in a minute, but you guys can't tell me that if you look at Sam Bankman-Fried, and I don't like to judge people, but if you look at him, you can't tell me that he is the person that's landing a sponsorship deal with Tom Brady or any of the rest of them guys. Kevin O'Leary has something to do with all that, because if you look at Sam Bankman-Fried, like, he's not landing that sponsorship deal.
Oh yeah.
Why he's playing the game of the League of Legends, he's going to land that deal? That's not going to happen. Like, they're going to look at him like, come on, man, you serious? Like, there's some big money behind that. That push them deals that we don't know about. There's a lot of stuff that's going to come out that we don't know about. There's a lot of people. There's a lot of people's going down.
Hey! I wonder why not a whole lot of people are talking about that 10 million that old Mr. Biden got.
We're gonna find out.
You know what? This is a thing. I don't think that information is going to come out, man. I really don't. All the congressmen that are linked to this, she's going to give up all the wallet info, but I don't think it's going to come out. I think a lot of it is going to be squelched.
Yeah, because they already they was sent they had posted like different screenshots and of different type of emails and stuff like that, and when it's like everybody who was on that email and stuff, there's already whiteouted spots of different emails that's attached to them, man. So
you're not gonna let it come out. It's too embarrassing. I guarantee you one of the number ones, Maxine Waters. I guarantee you.
Well,
most definitely.
I can guarantee you there's a lot of people on both sides of that aisle that are dirty and have a lot of money, because this fool, Sam Bankman-Fried, is going to go out on Twitter space, is talking about, well, yeah, I gave money to the Republicans too, but it was dark money. Joe, you just bought yourself a charge. Like, who is telling you to talk? Like, who was telling you to come out these Twitter spaces?
Yeah.
What do you got, Max? Like,
well, that's my thing. I mean, think about the whole thing with BitBoy Crypto. He was it Sam Bankman-Fried originally agreed to do that interview. And again, it's just like, that lawyer is literally calling. We don't see this, calling the Bahamas, that particular room, and saying, "Look, man, you're going to incriminate yourself. Do not do this interview with BitBoy Crypto." That got squashed right there. But my thing is, we talk about all this stuff that's happened, with FTX and whatnot. In the past, especially, was it El Salvador? They even have Bitcoin Island, if you will, and the official legal tender of El Salvador is Bitcoin, right? It sounds pretty cool, right? Like a big win for crypto to a sense, and not exactly a big win for them because they bought at the top of the mountain, if you will, and they're still kind of waiting for that to go up. But what I'm saying is, watch out for when we get to the point where blockchain technology is tied into the voting system. That way we don't have to play this game, of this side, this political party, there was the whole corruption, and the other side says, no, it's you guys, back and forth. Nah, we could put that all to rest if we had this on a public ledger where anybody can see if anything was manipulated and so on.
There's already a company that's developed. There's already a company.
No, I know, I get that, but I'm saying, like, when it's finally here, you know what I mean? And if you guys were talking about, for instance, I don't know if it was Daniel and so on, but the whole thing with the taxes, the government wants to get their piece of a pie. It's like there's that, and then, I mean, do we realistically see this whole thing with the voting structure like happening anytime soon? If they're not jumping on the board with,
I don't think that section of it. I don't think that's going to be
right. No way. Like way down the road, maybe.
I tell you, there's other countries that are jumping on blockchain voting. I can tell you.
Other countries, but I'm saying United States. You know what I mean?
But when other countries jump on it and they find out that it's successful, and these younger generations, because you got to remember, the younger generation gonna push this, right? Like, we're here to set the groundwork, the foundation. Like, our kids in the younger generation, they're gonna push this thing, and when they start pushing this thing, like, that's when you're really going to start to see that change. And I can see America going to blockchain voting, for not in a not too distant future. We have so many voting issues and so many voting questions. Blockchain can fix it. There's a company out there working on that. Ain't that right, boy? At minimum, yeah, they're
Hey.
doing it over in another country.
I'm gonna
So
tell you.
they're already rolling that out. But man, I'll tell you, FTX though, man, how deep is this gonna go in the crypto market? How deep of a
Man,
cut are they going to take down Solana? They own 13% of Solana.
They built Solana. They freaking built Solana.
yep.
Is
Okay.
Solana going to survive? Are they going to be a casualty of this? I can't say they're not.
We're talking about that floor. Remember, Daniel? We were talking about that floor a week ago. It's doing exactly what you said it was going to do.
It's going to drop out. You have not seen the floor of Solana, because here's the thing with Solana. Alameda Research owns 13% between Alameda Research and FTX. During the bankruptcy hearing, if the bankruptcy court judge says that he wants that liquidated, you're going to see 13% of Solana sold in the open market.
There you go. Yeah, you're right. That would be considered collateralized.
Yep.
You got to have something to make up for the losses for investors.
Yep.
So what's going to happen when that happens? Take 13% of that price and drop it out.
Well, it becomes distressed asset. It becomes distressed asset, and if anything, I do well with a distressed asset this year, VGX. I mean, am I rooting for all that stuff? No, of course not. But if anything, I recognize what's going on in the market.
But I don't think Solana makes it out of that.
Yeah, I don't.
So you think they go away completely? Is what you're saying?
I don't think that all the blockchains are going to make it through 2023. I think you're going to see some of the top blockchains not make it.
So you don't think Solana will turn into basically like what Luna Classic is right now? You don't see that?
I can see somebody coming in and swooping up Solana when it's so far down. I can see a merger happen, but I don't think all your blockchains are I don't think your top blockchains, not all of them are going to make it out of 2023 without merging. There's too many. There's too many that do the same.
Do we really want Solana to look like Luna Classic? I mean, is that going to be attractable? You know what I mean? No. I don't think that's going to be attractable.
No, maybe from the NFT side of things, that's about it.
But can't you see a situation where Solana gets bought out by another blockchain, just comes in and swoops up and buys them out? I can see that. I can see that happening. And the same with some of these other layer 2s and also layer 1s. I can see 2023 blockchains merging. They're just not all going to make it.
There are a lot of layer 1s that are going to assume the position, if you would. Yeah. They're just waiting. They're just going to rise up and assume those positions. I think it's a good time for those up and coming, blockchains like Apex and things like that. And Algorand has a great future. Nobody's talking about that, but
I've been talking about that.
You know what I'm talking about, Max. Algorand is very attractive right now, and nobody's freaking looking. Yeah,
the crash was 11 cents right now. Are you kidding me? That's exactly amazing.
Yeah. It kind of me and Daniel was talking about Algorand. It's sad that no one's paying attention. They're gonna miss out.
Now there's some people that pay attention. There's like was it Richard Common Sense Crypto? There's a few other people, but I mean I'm with you on Algorand. I'm looking to pick up another bag of it at these prices. I mean, it was disappointing as far as maybe a swing trade, of course. Yeah. But long term they're gonna be more than fine.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm gonna answer Cool Chris's question for him. Do I see XRP flipping ETH? No. Not right now. Not right now.
When the on-demand liquidity happens and when that happens full force, yes. I'll be a minority on that. In 2023, man.
In 2023, I don't see XRP flipping Ethereum.
No. Okay.
That'd be a tough deal. I mean, anything's possible. But
2024, or when all the ISOs are up and running to their full capacity and everything's implemented, then we can have a different type of conversation. But right now, 2023, I don't see it, because I don't think all the ISOs are going to be up and running in full effect 2023. So I think you're looking 2024. That's just my opinion, but I don't see.
I mean, I'm even thinking early 25. I mean, I don't know. There's got to be a lot of factors that has to go in for even. It's a lot that's got to happen, man. And then like you just said, man, there's no telling. 2023 is going to be a very, very interesting year for crypto. I mean, because I think there's going to be a lot of different catalysts that's going to either rise up, help the market come up, or it's going to push it down further than where it's at, and to prepare for a bigger push later. But I mean, 2023 I really think it's going to be very, very unexpected turn of events going on for crypto, whether it's positive or negative.
Yeah, cool. Chris is saying that it really only needs a 10x to do that. But the thing about it is I don't think you're going to get that 10x out of. I don't even know if that's right, but if it is, I don't think you're going to see the XRP run as high as Ethereum and market cap without Ethereum running at the same time. That's going to be the problem. Is there going to run at the same time until the ISOs come out and are in full effect? Once that happens, like I said, that's a whole nother conversation. They're going to see a lot of tokens come up you're going to see a lot of coins come up that top 20 dashboard once the ISOs are in effect. That whole top 20, 25 dashboard is not going to look the same.
No, and you got to think too, like we mentioned earlier, it all depends on if they decide to come after ETH, and what's going to happen then. It's a lot. Like I say, it's 2023, man, is going to be very, very interesting.
If ETH ends up in court in 2023 with the SEC, then I'll say, cool, Chris, you're right. XRP will flip ETH this year. Because ETH will drop. If it ends up in court with the SEC, it will drop. They will, because right now, in my thought process, during the next bull run, BNB is going to eat into ETH and Bitcoin their overall market share, right? And I think BNB will eat into some of that. So if they're already eating into some of that, and Ethereum's in court with the SEC, and it drops, XRP will be right there to boost itself right up and take that spot. But all of them things have to be in line, because I think in 2023 you're already seeing CZ flex his muscles. I think you're going to see him flex even more, and I'm not mad at him. Some people think that he might be too big to fail in BNB, but people got to understand, I'm not mad at him. I think he should flex his muscles. I mean, if you don't have anything to hide and you're pulling billions of dollars of revenue in a day, go ahead and flex.
I don't know, man. That dude's been kind of shaky. CZ's been very shaky lately, and I don't know if you caught that last CNBC interview. He's very cracky. He's very shaky.
He's very nervous.
Yeah,
he's like kind of stuttering because it's like you never see him like that. You know what I mean?
I've never seen. You're right, Max. I've never seen this guy disheveled like this.
It's kind of like asking me a question. I'm like, I'm like, what? I never seen you act like that before. You know what I mean?
I mean, the response to his liability issues. We have no debt. That's fucking ridiculous. There has to be something there. You can't tell me you have no debt.
Yeah, you're right. In his defense, I mean, I do look at it from this perspective because I mean, like I'm basically a mutt. I mean, I'm almost like every nationality you can imagine. But I mean, I remember some of my relatives tell me, especially when English wasn't their first language, would say to me, like, you don't understand, like sometimes you got to take that much more extra thought when you get thrown a question that you've never dealt with before. You're literally thinking that interpretation. So I mean, there is that, but I mean, these are legitimate questions. If anything, he had plenty of time. If I'm as big as CZ, right, I'm having like an assistant or something like that, right, saying, look, these are the questions they're going to throw at you. You need to be ready for it. And then if anything, speak the native tongue that he speaks. So I mean, part of me wants to defend him on that because it's kind of like what my relatives were telling me in the past. But the other part is like kind of like what you were mentioning. He just was too nervous, and then we never saw that before with him. So there's that.
Cool and Chris says he wasn't ruffled; he was pissed.
Oh, you think that's what? Yeah, it could be. Like that's his version of being pissed. Like, you guys just making me like this. Yeah.
But what are you so defensive about? I mean, Just think about it. If I was in his shoes and if everything was a-okay, it's a beautiful platform. Nobody's saying it's not. Why are you so shooken by these questions? If you're angry, that's cool. But I mean, come on, these are easy. Max, you said it, bro. Easy answers. These are very easy answers.
Too bad we get copyright strike. I want to say this real quick. I know you guys listen to some hip hop, like myself and so on. This would be the perfect time when that all happened for Mob Deep's. Yeah, he shook because there ain't no such thing as halfway crust. Stay to look at a freaking yearbook.
No, absolutely, man. I mean, let them do the audit.
Halfway
Just let them do the
right?
audit. Give them all the info. Let's see the liabilities. And the last thing I want to see is ZZ some evidence of him using BNB as collateral for freaking loans. I don't want to see that, and maybe that's the case.
But what I will say is, in 2022, one of the good things I did see out of this year was the proof of reserves in the centralized exchanges. That's a step forward for the centralized exchanges this year. Of course, now anybody knows that goes through an audit, you have to match your revenue up with your liabilities, right? And that's how you can find out what you're really worth. I could say I'm worth $2 billion, but if I have 2.5 billion in liability, am I really worth $2 billion? Right. So, of course you have to see the liability piece next, but you're not going to get it all at once, and that's first step to really figuring out what's going on with these centralized exchanges was to find out, do they have enough assets to back what's in the exchange, right? That was step one. And I think we will get to the liability piece. We will get there. It's just a matter of when, and it's going to be a matter of, do you get to the liability piece willingly or forcefully, right? But they'll get there. I think the government will force them to get there if they don't get there themselves. And I don't think all the centralized exchanges are going to make it out of 2023 either.
Absolutely.
I think your big ones will. I don't think Binance is in trouble. I don't think, I know Crow's taking some heat right now, but I think that they'll be fine. I think Coinbase will obviously be fine. They're a publicly traded company. Their balance sheets are completely out there. So I think that they'll be fine. And I think that was one, but I do think that we did make progress in 2022 with the centralized exchanges, with the proof of reserves. Is it everything everybody wants? Absolutely not. But are you going to get everything you want in the first round? Absolutely not. So we'll get there. So we're losing people. So we'll wrap this up in a minute. But I want to know, going into 2023, what are you guys loading your bags up with? What are you sitting here right now today saying, you know what, going into the next year, I need some more of that?
Well, I'll tell you, Algorand. I'm going all in on Polygon. I love, I have to say this, man. I'm digging MetaMonkey AI, and you guys know, Daniel, I like the blockchain tech. That's why I'm going in hard on that situation. I like the efficiency model that they're introducing. It's going to be very cool. And last but not least, I'm big on VeChain. That's where I'm going.
Okay.
Some great picks, man.
What about you, Max? What are you going into next year going, you know what?
Well, you already know. You already know. So me personally, I mean, it's roughly like maybe 6 or 7. But it's this. So Quant XRP is like almost tied for my number ones. I get it that Quant is expensive and so on. I'm looking at it from the perspective that Quant literally is their second chance at Bitcoin, but in the form of utility. They connect everything. Like I mentioned before, the Microsoft of crypto, if you will, in a good way, not from the blue screen of death perspective or anything like that. Thank God. XRP, because of the on-demand liquidity, I see what's, them basically taking on a portion of our debt, and how does that transfer over to, for instance, the overall crypto market cap. The global market cap is going to rise substantially when that officially happens and so on. I think XLM is there with it. My number 4 is XDC. I feel as though they're the most underrated, undervalued of the ISOs. There's a lot to be said about that military grade blockchain, blockchain 4.0, if you will. Algorand is up there for me as well. And then as far as maybe picking up like a big bag of it, you know, it's a low market cap one, is Tectonic. Because I see that being a 10x in a bull run. But even there, I mean, that's decent money I could put, you know, get back, but it doesn't even compare to the generational wealth I'm looking for in the future and so on. I'm a firm believer that I'm gonna be able to retire by the time I'm like basically 46, 47 years old, before I'm 50. You know what I mean? So you know,
I
yeah,
think
that's the
that
way I look at
this
it.
I think this is the last big bull run. I think this is the last bull run you're going to see where the last bull run that we're used to seeing. I think this is it, because I think regulation is going to kill the bull runs that we're used to seeing. What do you think, Worldwide Crypto? What are you going into 2023 with?
So all right, so this is my list of what I'm steadily just acquiring right now. So I got Compound. I do have some Algorand. I'm definitely going to start increasing my bag on that. You know what I mean? BNB. I'm definitely bullish on BNB. Polygon. I'm actually increasing more of my Polygon bag than anything else. You know, it's. I really think Polygon has something substantial to it, especially, man. Once they announced when they announced that they were partnered with Disney, I was like, you know what?
Yeah,
This
exactly.
this is nuts that anybody would even think that Polygon's not going anywhere. So
I forgot to mention Polygon. I'm with you. Yeah, in the bear, I don't mean to cut you off, man, but I want to say this real quick. In the bear market, think about this. Polygon is probably the one that really stood out of all of them in this bear market. So I would agree with you on that. I am going to get a second bag of Polygon as well.
Yeah, and then like say ETH. I mean, that's just, you know, it's just one of the things. I don't really think ETH is going in unless something's just crazy happens, like say a lawsuit or something like that, whatever the case may be. But I think that ETH will be on its way to being very nice and healthy in the future. So I'm definitely increasing on that.
Yep, absolutely.
So I'll give you guys mine, and they're diverse. But I got a question for you guys about Algorand.
Sure.
Can you still stake Algorand in the Coinbase wallet for automatic staking?
Yeah, absolutely.
They're still doing that compound staking?
Well, see, here's
I don't know.
here's the thing. Yeah, I've been doing it, bro, but it changed slightly. Instead of it used to be initial payouts, now it's quarterly, like every 3 months.
Okay.
But it's still good. It's still gold.
I don't use Coinbase wallet, but if I do, I may move my Algorand because I do own some over there. Just I hate staking. I hate staking. I just despise staking. But if it's auto staking, I may move it over to Coinbase wallet, just because I know if I ever don't want to stake it anymore, the only thing I have to do is sell it. I don't have to wait 15 days. I don't got to wait 20 days. I don't got to do all that nonsense.
Yeah.
I think the APR is pretty good too. I think it's over 5% right now.
Crow turned me off to that, man. I missed a big pump with Crow because I couldn't get my Crow out of staking, and I missed it. And then when Luna Classic moved over to Terra Station, and they were talking 28 days for you to get your staking, I was like, man, get out of here, man. I'm gonna sell this Luna Classic right here. I ain't staking nothing, and you ain't holding my money for 28 days.
That's crazy.
When I want to sell, I want to sell, and I want to sell now. So XXI Gaming, I'm gonna keep your comment up here because I think I'm gonna answer some of your questions. I think I'm gonna answer this question as I go along with what I'm stacking up. I'm stacking up BNB like crazy. I just think the percent of gain on BNB over Bitcoin and Ethereum in the bull run is there. You're gonna get more of a percent off of your money than you are of Bitcoin and Ethereum.
Yes.
There's just more runway there for it. Now, I do own Bitcoin and I do own Ethereum. Not going to tell you how much Bitcoin I own, but I own some Bitcoin. I'm not moving it. I'm not touching it. It's there. I've done pretty good on Bitcoin, but you know, if it happens to run up to the 100,000 mark, I won't be live streaming anymore. I'll tell you that. So, so I do own some Bitcoin and some Ethereum, but I'm really stacking up on BNB just because of the percent of the gains, right? Yeah. Matic, I am loaded up on Matic. Every time Matic goes under 77 cents, I am buying the shit out of Matic. In different types of bags. XRP, obviously I'm loading up on XRP, XLM. I have Quant. I am trying to accumulate as much Quant as I can possibly accumulate at this point. in a game just because its supply is lower than Bitcoin, and its demand is going to be higher. So when we get to the ISOs, it's going to be the Microsoft, the Windows of ISOs. It's going to oversee it. You're going to need it to run whatever and connect whatever. So I want to own that. And but I'll tell you, I don't believe that we're going to have any more Shiba Inu runs in this market. I think this is the last bull market for the meme coins. That you're going to see a Shiba Inu type of run before regulation comes in and just absolutely crushes it. So I'll give you the two meme coins that I own right now. I only own 2 low market cap coins. That's it. Everything else I own are either ISO coins or blue chips, right?
Well, some ISOs are blue chips.
Yeah, but I like to differentiate between the two because I own a lot of LBT, and it's technically not up there yet, but it's getting there. So I like to differentiate between the two. I think LBT is a huge hidden gem for anybody who hasn't looked at it yet. Take a look at it because I think if you do, you'll like it, and it's a hidden gem, and I think it's going to take off. But the 2 meme coins that I own that I think will take off in this market for 2 different reasons: Volt and MMAI. I think they're both going to take off, but they're going to take off for two very distinct reasons. Volt's going to take off because its community is strong and its marketing is second to none when it comes to what they're doing and how they're getting their name out there. And they're starting to add more and more utility with the Volti change and things like that. So they're starting to. MetaMonkey AI is going to take off because of their technology and the fact that they're actually a business and they're changing the way that crypto's coming out. I think them two will take off and go absolutely ape crap in the bull run. I think that when they take off, you may see a Shiba Inu type of run on Volt, but just because of the community. And I think that'll be the last Shiba Inu type of run you see ever. And I'll put my money on it. If Volt runs like Shiba Inu, it'll be the last one ever. And MetaMonkey AI is going to run because of the tech that it has behind it and how they're conducting themselves as a business. I just think them are the only 2 in the market right now as far as low market caps that I could see running and doing a Shiba Inu type of run in the bull market. I don't see anybody else doing that. But yeah, so that's what I'm loading up on Matic. I'm loading up on BNB. I'm loading up on Quant. Loading up on XRP. Obviously, I'm loading up on ALBT. My Volt bags are packed, and my MMAI bags are packed, and I'm ready for the ride in 2023, baby. We going to trade sideways all of 2023, at least until the end, I think. But in 2024, I think we're going to take a ride. So we're going to close this out by telling me, guys, when are we done? When are we done going sideways? Max, when are we done going sideways?
Oh man, I'm gonna say, and I know I'm in the minority. I'm sticking with this because there's enough data, and I've showed you guys on our show the actual data. I didn't pull out thin air, but I'm going with the end of March 2023 because if anything, on March 20th, you do see the mandate, unless it gets delayed again. Hopefully it doesn't, but I don't think that's going to happen with ISO 222. And again, it's going to start a utility run. Then from there, we get the actual bull run. So that's the way I look at it as far as answering XXSI Gaming's question. There's none that really stand out as far as, ones to get right now and before all this starts to pump before the bull run. So the way I look at it is we're still in a crypto winter, if you will. Now's obviously the time to start loading up on some of these and so on. Not financial advice, just what I'm doing personally. And yeah, I've never gotten to BNB before. I mean, I hold a very little amount of it, but in reality, under $300 for BNB. Are you kidding me? That is a great buy.
Yeah.
So I mean, that is attractive for me to get into, but I'm already into about roughly 50 different projects that are part of my portfolio. As far as the low market cap ones like Volt, I'm looking to get a second bag of Volt. I'm still trying to get that V1 over to the V2. I already sent a while back. I have to get a hold of some of the team in regards to that.
That's a done deal, man. I'm gonna tell you, if you still holding V1,
No. I did before the deadline. I already looked into
okay,
that.
okay.
Yeah, was it March before April and so on? So I just need to get a hold of someone because I never got it back and so on. But yeah, I did meet the deadline. I just need to contact somebody on Telegram. But yeah, so there's that. And then as far as like low market cap ISOs, ALBT, LCX look really good.
What about you, Crypto Lounge? When we done trading sideways, man? When we out of this mess? When can we start counting money in our pocket?
I'm thinking probably the beginning of next winter. We got a long ways to go. And I think as far as 10x, 100x, throwing money at the projects in between now and then, that's a dice roll. It really is. You can't really say what anything is going to do right now because there's so much uncertainty. So, roll the dice, if you will, close your eyes or whatever. I don't know. But as far as movement, I'm thinking just slightly before next winter, we'll see some nice movement.
I'm not messing with any of these tokens unless they have utility. I'm not messing with any. I'm not rolling my dice and none of them unless they come out with some utility or unless they got 50-something thousand members in the community that can hold the floor. I'm not putting my money in any of them because the market's too shaky. What you got? What you got, Worldwide Crypto? When are we gonna start making some money? What's your estimate?
I'm thinking end of 23, maybe beginning of 24 is when I think we might have a slight little gain up to then, but I don't think we're gonna see anything significant until the end of next year, maybe beginning of next year. That's just my opinion.
And also, we want people to know that there's a big difference between, a bull market and getting to all-time highs. The beginning of a bull market is a different story compared to God, 2021, Bitcoin 69K, Ethereum, 4,300 and so on. So,
yeah.
So here's how I see it. I think we're going to ride the first half of 2023 pretty much flatline. We're going to be flatline with maybe a little peak here, a little peak there, but it's basically going to be flatline. And guys, remember, a 2 or 3% gain is not a bull run. All right. So don't be online talking about we're in the middle of a bull run and you're only at an $8 billion market cap. Don't get yourself out there looking foolish. But we got to say what's up to Fan. She's in the house, and when the lady of crypto comes in the house,
hey, what's going on, Fan?
What's going on, Fan?
So, but I think we're going to flatline for the first half of 2023. I think we're going to have a run somewhere in that second half of 2023, but I don't think it's going to be the bull run. But I think we're going to see a lot of positive price action in that second half of the year. And I think we're going to trade sideways again, right? But I think a lot of people are going to start taking profits at first big up. You may see Bitcoin get to 30K, the second half of that 2023, but that's not our bull run. I think we'll get there, and then I think we're going to trade sideways for a little while. And I'm just going off of patterns from the old S&P 500s, the NASDAQ, and the old bull runs, and this is kind of how it happened. And everybody was getting rid of their bags on that first big push-up thinking that they were in the bull run when reality leveled off for a couple months, and then you took off like a rocket. So I think early 2024 is when you're going to see that rocket ship take off. I think you're going to see a lot of profit taken early in 23, later in 23, and then you're going to see that rocket in 2024. It's kind of how I see it playing out. Now, obviously, there's a lot of external factors to that, but that's kind of how I see it. Big Watch, how are you? But that's how I see it playing out. Much like you guys, I'm on the same page as you guys, early 24. But I think we're going to have that big run in 2023. It's going to be just a 30,000 Bitcoin, and everybody's going to be dancing around talking about we're in a bull run, and they're going to miss it. They're going to miss it. They're going to miss that second half.
Something that you just said though that I think we need to be prepared for when that. I don't want to say fake bull run, but when that little pump does happen, it's going to be aggressively attacked. A lot of people are going to use that as exit liquidity, so we need to be prepared for that because it's not going to be pretty, man. Let me tell you.
I'm gonna tell you straight up, and I ain't gonna lie to you. If I'm in any low market cap tokens, and they happen to move, and I happen to have a moon bag in there, and your exit liquidity because you're hanging on, and your exit liquidity because you're hanging on, man. We're all trying to tell you not to hang on, not to hang on to these things. So
don't go to sleep.
I'm telling you, hey, pick a price point that you're like, you know, that you're comfortable with, and saying, you know what, I'm going to take profits here. Take profits. Don't let any community, any person scare you out of taking some profits. Make sure you take your profits. Pick you a price point, and don't pick your price point saying, oh, you know what? Oh man, I just bought to this token and I spent $20 and I got $1 trillion and it's gonna run to $1. Stop thinking like that. It's ridiculous. It is very, very ridiculous.
I think we all can.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think we all can agree, right? Going into 2023, I think in 2022, the investors got smarter.
Yeah.
At the end of it, I think so, but we're not all the way there yet.
Now, the investors that's been in for a little while got smarter. Now, the ones that have gotten into it this year and still getting into it now, they're not going to recognize that. They're not keen enough. I mean, and it's not any slight against anybody. It's just that, you know, you got to be around. You got to experience the scams. You got to experience, you know, some run-ups. You got to experience, you know, some rug pulls. You have to, there's a whole lot of experience that you have to gain enough knowledge to recognize a few different things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're exactly right. Yeah.
So, you know, it's gain you some knowledge on crypto, gain you some knowledge, learn how to read Etherscan, BNB scan, Polyscan. Learn how to read this stuff, because I'm telling you, you know, you will get wrecked if you just continuously think, this is the, you know, Shiba made millionaires, and you're gonna get stuck catching green, you know, chasing green candles. And then I'm telling you what, when I get my opportunity to take some profits, you're gonna be my exit liquidity. I'm not lying. It's the truth. You know, this is trading. We're all in here to make money. And this is how it goes. You know what I'm saying? So get some knowledge on what you're doing, because if not, you're going to continuously be exit liquidity for somebody.
No, you gotta. There's two things though. Etherscan, of course, knowing the how to read that stuff, and then I think that what's underrated is knowing the project, because there are projects that you get in and you just make a little money and get the hell out and forget about it. But then there's a lot of projects in crypto that are long term. But you got to know the indicators. You have to know how to seek those projects out, because there's a lot of them.
Yeah. You have to know what projects you're in short term and what projects you're in long term. You have to make them distinctions long before you even make your investment. Yeah. And you know, and I think that's, and you said something, Worldwide Crypto, that I want to touch on a lot too, is whether you're new in crypto or whether you've been here for a while, don't let anybody make you feel like you can't take profits, because I'm taking profits. I have a price point that I set on every project, and I say I'm going to take my initial plus some out right here. And when I reach that price, there's no second guessing it. I'm taking my initial and plus some profit and plus a little bit of profit out once it reaches that price, because then I'm playing with house money. That project could go to zero, and I don't care, because I'm even. Right now, of course, I want that project to go to the moon. Of course, I wanted to, and I do this with blue chips as well, guys. When a blue chip goes up to a certain amount, I'm taking profits. I'll tell you right now, if Matic goes up to 90 cents, I'm taking profits, because I bought at 50 cents, 60 cents, and 70 cents. So I'm taking my profits off of what I bought at 50 cents, and I'm taking it, right? So it is not only for meme coins. I'm taking it off of blue chips too. So you always secure your bag, and that's something that I think that everybody's got to learn, and everybody's got to do a better job of. Have your price point set long before you get into a project, and know what you got in with, and know what you want to get out with.
There's a lot of pressure though, if you really think, because you got the Captain Wallet watchers. They're in the telegrams, and they're pressuring a lot of people to hold. And they shame the people who sell. So you have to be able to withstand that. And like you said, just be aware of what your goal is. And, you know, just basically fuck what everybody else is saying, essentially.
You have Bitcoin maxis out there that will tell you never to sell Bitcoin.
Yeah.
You have Ethereum maxis out there that'll tell you never to sell Ethereum. You'll have SHIB maxis out there that tell you never to sell SHIB. But here's the one thing that they all have in common, that all the investors need to realize this, and people coming over from the stock market already realize this, and this is where your new investors are coming from. None of them guys know what your situation is, or ladies know what your situation is, and none of them count your pockets for you.
Absolutely.
I'm going to count my own money, and you count your money, and you leave my money alone, and I'll leave your money alone. Because here's the best thing about trading. Just because I exit a project doesn't mean I can't enter a project.
That's right.
The same one I exited, I can still enter again. That's what they call trading, right?
Yeah.
You know how many times I've sold quant? I bought at $102 and sold at $127, $130, somewhere up in there as a swing trade. I can exit and enter a project anytime I want. That's what they call trading. So don't let anybody ever tell you have to hold. That is craziness.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Nobody knows what you're going through. Nobody knows what your situation is, and nobody knows what your needs are. So
exactly.
So with that, does anybody have anything else to say? It's almost 2 hours, so we think we talked 2002 to death.
No, it was a great conversation.
20 years ago, there's some good games about back then, though. Anyway,
no, I loved it, man. It's a great conversation. We definitely should do this more often.
Absolutely.
I think so too. I love all the different opinions on the panel. Like everybody comes at it from a different angle, and I love that because you listen. Go follow all these guys. Everybody that was on here tonight, their links to their YouTube channel is in my description. Click on it, sub, hit the notification bell. We all come at it a little bit differently. We all come at it from a different point of view, and always listen to different people and different YouTubers and different influencers. Never stake your bets on just me or crypto or worldwide crypto or anybody else. Always listen to different people and always listen to different people's point of view, and then make your decision on what you want to do on something. But always listen to different people's trading strategy because you can always learn something from somebody. So always do that. You guys got anything to close this thing out with, or are we just stepping out?
All right, it's football time.
That's what I'm saying.
It's good, man. And good to meet Max. Good to meet you, brother. I know I just
really
good to meet you,
man. Definitely.
It's official right now, man. Great conversation, brother.
Thanks. We have a thing over on ours on Crypto Talk Now, basically on Wednesdays. Daniel always, well, for the most part, he comes out to. It's called a Crypto Roundtable. We've had Wadi on it, Jeremy, Crypto Realist, and so on. Heck, we even had Sean, Chaka, and so on. But if anything, it's a great roundtable discussion. We have every single Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern. So you guys are more than welcome to join us over there if you want. But yeah, man, it's really great meeting you guys, hearing different perspectives and so on. I'll leave our audience with this because, Daniel said, do I have anything to leave everybody with? Yeah, I mean, Daniel pointed out, for instance, listen to various different people, but I'll state this. You owe it to yourself to still do your own research because, we're not providing you guys any official financial advice. Please, whatever you do, if there is quote unquote top influencers you follow, you owe it to yourself to at least at minimum check out a light paper. Me personally, I read the white paper. It's like at least my thing is like a good solid project has at least 20 pages of a white paper and so on. And so, I mean, all these other things that these two gentlemen at the bottom basically been mentioning, like, for instance, Etherscan or some of these other ones and so on. If you're new, you'll get there. You know the want and need that you basically need to understand some of this and so on. But I know it can be intimidating, and like we mentioned, also it's part of that journey. You know what I mean? Like, not if you met somebody who's like, yeah, man, I'm only into 5 projects and I have been for the last 4 or 5 years, and I didn't get wrecked on any of them. I'm a maxi. It's like that's BS.
Yeah.
So, understand the project, know what you hold. And if it has great solid utility, then all the better. But, my personal thing is don't sell for a loss and be convicted by what you stand by and what you invested in. There's a reason why you did that. And so I'll just leave you guys with that.
Plus, I just want to touch on that real quick. There's a lot of educational platforms that are out there now that we didn't have. So, I mean, and one that I'm a big fan of right now is Debt Connect. Debt Connect, they have videos. Bleaves actually made a lot of the videos explaining, what is a market cap, what is the blockchain, different things like those. There's a lot of different resources that are out right now. So I definitely suggest you find something and utilize that information, because it's a lot that what's being offered now wasn't out when we started out, you know what I'm saying? So we ran
you
into
said
a lot
it earlier. You said
Yeah.
earlier, basically, with the whole thing of, oh yeah, man, I got this for 20 cents and I'm going to hold on to $1. Well, if you hold on to $1, then that makes this particular token like in the top 10 because of the market cap. People don't understand those type of things. You know what I mean?
So what are you gonna leave us with, Crypto Lounge? What you got before we go watch football, baby?
Hey, I think it's very important, man, Max, and you're right, man. Doing your own research, and I think part of the regulations, I believe, they should input this into this. It should be mandatory for any project to include crypto education on their platform, on the website, whatever the medium is. It should be mandatory for them to include some sort of crypto education. At least give the materials there to where that person that wants to do their own research is local. It's right there in front of them. You know what I mean? Makes it a little easier.
We got on cigarettes. I might as well have it on the crypto.
Absolutely. Right? And we already know what that does, But seriously though, it's so important for the newcomers, because a lot of newcomers are getting that old information, that Shiba Inu information. Put 200 in, get $1 million out, or whatever. They're still getting that, so it's very important that we do that. You guys are right.
So what I leave you guys with is this. This is not the last time this roundtable will get together. I will leave that Twitter open. We will do this again. We will make this happen again. We will bring you guys anything that we can possibly bring you guys from an update standpoint or anything like that. And we can come in here, we can laugh about it, we can joke about it. But if we come on here and say, let's talk about regulation in 2023, that's because there's some stuff coming down in 2023 we think you guys should know about. You take that information, you do what you want with that information, you digest that however you want to. But we're going to bring it to you on a roundtable, maybe to try to educate you, right? So you take that education and do what you want. But what I will tell you is, going into 2023, what I really want you guys to do is just do that. Educate yourself. Educate yourself on the crypto market. When you're in a bear market is the best time to learn, because when you're in a bull market, everything happens so fast, you don't have time to learn. You don't have time to learn how to read an Etherscan, because if you do, you might miss the pump, right? So when you're in a bull market, there is no time to sit back and take your time to learn. In a bear market, you have all the time in the world to accumulate your tokens. You have all the time in the world to learn how to do things and do your own research and all that stuff. So utilize this time to your advantage and invest in solid projects. Quit chasing these damn rug pulls. And if the devs are promising you stuff and they're not delivering it, that's a key sign for you to probably exit your position on the next pump. I'm not telling you to exit your position to lose money, but I'm telling you, like, if you get a bad feeling about a project and you're even or up, maybe just take a step back. And like I said earlier, you could, go ahead and pull your money. You can always buy back in. And that's the beauty of trading, right? That's the beauty of trading. So sometimes you're right about your gut feeling, and sometimes you're wrong, and both feelings are okay, as long as you're secure with your own money. So take that. That's what I want to go into 2023 with. And with that, we out. We're gonna see you guys on the next one. I enjoyed this thoroughly. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And we're gonna get up out of here, and we're gonna do this again. And I appreciate you guys 2 hours, and appreciate you staying around. Fan, I see you out there. Thank you for dropping by. I appreciate the support. Everybody have a great night. We're out.